my name is Jeff Rolka. Thank you for checking out my video. I've had a lot of requests about doing more modes or more exotic scales and chromaticism, and it occurred to me that there was an opportunity to put the two together. So in this video we're going to go over the Dorian mode, and I'm going to show you a riff that can show you how to insert a little chromaticism in what I think is a kind of cool way into a 2-5-1 chord progression. Now, before we go too far, these are not modes. I'm not using the term modes in the sort of Baroque and earlier music tradition kind of usage. These are not church modes. These are modes as we would understand them taken from jazz. And I'm going to explain what Dorian mode is in just a moment here. But I wanted to be very clear about that. There are a variety of ways of thinking about modes. These are the modes that we would think of if we were doing jazz or contemporary music. You do get modes in the blues as well, and to a certain extent you can get them in pop music, more in the way that the melodies are organized and how they relate to the major key that they're in, or minor key for that matter. But these are not the church modes. If that's what you're looking for, I'm sorry, this isn't the video for you. Now, before we go a little bit step further, thank you if you've chosen to subscribe. And if you haven't yet, I hope that you'll do so now. There are many other ways that you can support my channel. Those are all in the description, and they do include Patreon. And I'll put a link on screen too here. You can get MP3s and also PDFs of these practices to work along with. So what's a mode? Let's go to the keyboard here and I'll show you. It's really not that complex, at least in this kind of a standpoint. The church modes I think are kind of complex, but I suppose if you're more familiar with those, they're pretty simple too. But these modes, not too difficult to understand really. Let's take, for example, a major scale. I'll show you D major. So D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. If we think about that as a collection of pitches that we can organize in a variety of ways, then I think it's easier to grasp the idea of what the modes are. Dorian mode would be taking that collection of pitches and starting from E. So when we did our scale, we said D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. There's your E, D, E. So if I play the same collection of pitches from E to E, we have Dorian mode as it relates to the key of D major. This is the 2 chord, the 2-7 chord, or 2 minor 7 chord if you're in the jazz idiom, or for that matter, any idiom really. The 2 chord, if it's a 7 chord, is going to be a minor 7 chord. From here, we can then start to work with it. This basically ends our theory section. I'm not going to go too deep into the theory aspects of these things because I want to get singing and I want to get these kinds of patterns into our ears. So now we're going to start to sing along with a very basic pattern for the Dorian mode. And we're going to stick to a few keys that I'll play in 2 hands so that if you're a lower voice you can play along or sing along with my left hand, higher voices can sing along with my right hand. To start with, just take 5 notes, and let's begin here. And this, for all intents and purposes, is just like the minor, because we haven't gone to the 6th scale degree. This is where the Dorian mode differs from the natural minor or Aeolian mode, in that the Dorian mode, as it relates to the tonic, has a major 6th in it, as opposed to a minor 6th. At any rate, try that with me, and So as I mentioned, that doesn't really differ from the natural minor scale when we take just that collection of pitches. Now we're going to extend this exercise out to cover an entire octave. And here we'll get that difference in the sixth scale degree. In the natural minor, it would be lowered by a semitone. Here, it's that major sixth versus a minor sixth relationship. You'll see what I mean once we get into it. This pattern should be reasonably familiar. It's covered in a lot of other ways. It sounds like this. I'll show you here. Let's try that together. 2, ready. If you find that you're running out of breath in the patterns, just grab a quick breath and get in as best you can. Let's now move down here and start again. Let's do E into A. So we'll do, and Ah. We'll do E, A, Ah. put some chromaticism between the minor third as it relates to the tonic of Dorian mode and a major third. So we're going to kind of use the leading tone into the 5 chord here, and that's where this can be very useful in a 2-5-1 chord progression. Let's start with just the melody, and it sounds like this. We'll use E as our vowel. E. And then we will return to the flatted third relative to the tonic on the descending part of the riff. So let's try that together. Again, in 2 hands, 1 down there, 1 there, and again here. And again here. You try it. And now, this is really cool when you can start to put chords with it, and particularly that descending part at the very end feels really fun to sing. So with a 2-5-1 chord progression, it will sound like this in that first key that we started with, which was C major, if you think about it as D minor 7, G7, C major, and that's the chord change that would correspond to that riff there. It will sound like this. That's the 2 chord into the 5 chord. Let's try it together. 2, ready? And again. You take it. One more time. And if you want, in this exercise we have a leading tone. Try it. In this exercise we have a leading tone. On your own. One more time. Let's move keys. So let's come up here, and let's just run through it, shall we? And again. You can use other vowels, of course, too. verse. In this exercise we have a leading tone. You try it. Vowel. Another vowel, maybe A. And the lyrics. I'll do it once with you. In this exercise we have a leading tone. Now you. It's pretty. I think it's pretty. I don't know that I've spent a lot of time with 2-5-1s in a long time. And it's lovely to hear those colors in the music. And I find it very interesting that such a very simple melody can be so colorful when integrated with those chord changes. It's just lively and elevated in a very interesting way to me, and I hope that you agree. But I'd love to hear what you think about this. I'd love to hear what you think about this video. I know this is a departure from what you would normally find on my channel, and don't worry, I have every intention of carrying on with more warm-ups and things like that. But again, a lot of requests about modes or different scales and chromaticism, and I haven't done that in a very long time, so this is somewhat overdue. Thank you again for watching. Thank you for singing along. Thank you if you've chosen to subscribe, and if you haven't yet, I do hope you'll do so now. Thank you if you've chosen to be a member of the Patreon, where you can get MP3s and PDFs of this practice to practice wherever you may travel. My name is Jeff. Thank you once again for watching. Take really good care of your voices, enjoy singing, and hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.